A peaceful mind is the best medicine. Hello, my dear friends. Before we begin, take a deep breath with me, in and out, slowly. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly felt peaceful? Not just free from noise, not just in a quiet room, but the kind of peace that settles softly in your heart. When the world outside may still be chaotic, but inside, you feel safe. Calm. Steady. Many of us forget that feeling. We wake up already, thinking about what could go wrong. We check the news and feel anxious before we've even had our morning tea. We replay old worries in our minds, our health, our children, our future. It's as if our minds have forgotten how to rest. We may sit down, but our thoughts are still running miles ahead. And over time, this constant tension begins to show in our shoulders, in our stomach, in our sleep. We call it stress. But it's more than that. It's a kind of inner noise that quietly wears us down. I remember once, when I was much younger, my mother said to me, "You can't heal a wound if you keep touching it." Back then, I thought she was just talking about scraped knees, but now I understand. She was talking about the mind. When we keep replaying what hurts, when we keep feeding our fears, the wound in our heart never closes, and no medicine, no diet, no doctor can fix what the mind refuses to let rest. That's why I truly believe a peaceful mind is the best medicine. Today, I'd like to share with you what that really means. We'll explore how the state of our mind shapes our health, how we can begin to calm the storm within, and how peace, even in small doses, can bring light back into our lives. So sit comfortably. You don't have to do anything, just listen, breathe, and be here with me. Now, let's take a gentle step deeper. Let's talk about how the mind and the body constantly speak to each other. Our minds and our bodies are not two separate things. They are partners, constantly talking, constantly influencing each other. When one is in pain, the other feels it. When one is calm, the other heals. Think of your body as a garden. The mind is the gardener. If the gardener is gentle, watering, pruning, giving sunlight, the garden thrives. But if the gardener is careless, angry, or neglectful, even the most fertile soil will wither. Science now confirms what ancient wisdom has always known. Stress chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline, when released too often, weaken our immune system, raise blood pressure, and slow healing. But peace, the deep, steady calm of the mind, does the opposite. It slows the heartbeat, eases inflammation, and releases the body's own healing chemistry. You might not see it happening, but your body feels every thought you think. Let me tell you about an old friend, Thomas. He was 72 when he had a mild heart attack. The doctors told him to exercise more, eat less salt, the usual advice. But when I visited him a few months later, I noticed something else. He looked more relaxed, almost lighter. I asked, "Thomas, what changed?" He said, "I stopped being angry every morning." He told me he used to wake up and immediately check the news, argue with the TV, curse politicians, relive old frustrations. It was his daily routine for years. Then one day, he realized his heart couldn't handle it anymore. So he made a small rule for himself: no news before breakfast and no anger before coffee. Instead, he'd sit outside with his tea, watch the sky change colors, and whisper a quiet prayer for peace. 6 months later, his blood pressure improved, his sleep returned, and he said, "I feel 20 years younger just because I stopped fighting life." That's the hidden truth. Sometimes, healing begins not in the hospital, but in the silence we allow ourselves to feel. And that brings us to something deeply practical: how we can invite peace into our everyday lives. Because peace, my friends, isn't something we wait for. It's something we practice moment by moment. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It's easy to say stay calm, but life isn't calm. You're right. Life brings storms, illness, loss, loneliness, uncertainty. But peace of mind isn't about escaping the storm. It's about learning how to stand in the rain without drowning. And that begins with small, everyday choices. Let me share a few simple ones with you. The first one is this: begin your day with intention. The first 5 minutes of your day can decide the next 15 hours. Before you reach for your phone, sit up slowly, breathe deeply, and whisper something kind to yourself. You might say, "Today I choose calm," or "I can't control everything, but I can control my peace." This tiny ritual builds a quiet foundation. It's like tuning your instrument before playing. You're setting your spirit in harmony before the day begins. Next, protect your mental space. We often clean our homes but forget to clean our minds. Every bit of gossip, every angry conversation, every fear-filled headline takes up space inside us. Ask yourself, is this helping my peace or hurting it? If it doesn't bring peace, limit it. Replace 10 minutes of scrolling with 10 minutes of breathing. Replace one angry comment with one act of kindness. When we stop feeding our mind with negativity, we begin to hear our own thoughts more clearly, and many of them are gentler than we realize. Here's another. Practice the pause. Before reacting, pause. Before arguing, pause. Before judging, pause. In that tiny space between reaction and response, peace has a chance to enter. I remember once standing in line at a grocery store, and the woman in front of me was arguing with the cashier. Everyone looked irritated, but an old man behind me whispered, "Let's not add our anger to hers." That simple sentence taught me so much. When we react to anger with anger, we multiply pain. When we pause and stay calm, we heal not just ourselves, but also the space around us. Peace, my friends, is contagious, just as much as stress is. Another way to invite peace is to spend time in nature. Nature doesn't rush. The trees aren't worried about tomorrow. The river doesn't compare itself to the ocean. It simply flows. Even 10 minutes outside can reset your nervous system. Look at the sky. Listen to the birds. Feel the ground under your feet. When you connect with nature, you remind your body what peace feels like, because nature is always calm at its core. And then, practice gentle forgiveness. Sometimes, the heaviest burden we carry is not age, not illness, but resentment. We hold grudges that weigh us down. But forgiveness doesn't mean saying, "What they did was okay." It means saying, "I choose not to let this wound define me anymore." Forgive others, yes, but also forgive yourself for past mistakes, for wasted time, for not being the person you once hoped to be. You did the best you could with what you knew then, and that's enough. Every time you forgive, you free a little more space for peace to live. And before you end your day, end it with gratitude. Before you sleep, think of 3 things that went right today, even the smallest ones. Maybe the tea was warm, maybe a friend called, maybe you simply made it through another day. Gratitude is like medicine for the mind. It trains the brain to look for what's good instead of obsessing over what's wrong. Over time, gratitude rewires our inner world. It softens the heart, and where the heart softens, peace can enter. And now, my dear friends, let's talk about what happens when peace becomes not just a practice, but a way of life. There's something magical that happens when calm becomes our habit. It doesn't mean life stops being hard. It means we stop being broken by it. I once visited a small clinic in the countryside where I met a woman named Elena. She was battling cancer, yet her smile could light up the whole room. Every nurse said, "She's the calmest patient we've ever had." When I asked her how she stayed so peaceful, she said softly, "I made peace with the idea that my time is limited, and because of that, every moment now feels like a gift." She told me she spent her mornings watching the sunrise and whispering thank you for the light, for her breath, for another chance to love. Her doctors said her recovery was unusual, but I believe her calmness was her medicine. Her acceptance gave her body the freedom to heal, and her spirit the courage to live fully. We often think we need more health, more money, more control, but perhaps what we need most is simply more peace. Because peace changes how we experience life, even when the outside world doesn't change at all. When we are peaceful, our food tastes better, our sleep becomes deeper, and our relationships grow softer. We stop chasing perfection and start embracing presence. That is what peace does. It brings us home to ourselves. And before we close today's reflection, let me speak to you from my heart. If you are listening right now and your heart feels heavy, if you've been carrying too many worries, too much sadness, too much what if, please know this. You don't need to fix everything today. You just need to pause, breathe, and remind yourself that peace is still possible. It doesn't matter how old you are, how many mistakes you've made, or how uncertain the future feels. You still have the power to choose calm over chaos. Even if it's just for one breath, one moment, that's enough. That's where peace begins. I once heard someone say, "Peace doesn't come to those who find time for it. It comes to those who make time for it. So make time for peace." My friends, make time to sit quietly, to feel grateful, to let your mind rest. You've earned it. After all the years of giving, working, worrying, you deserve a gentle, peaceful life. And remember, peace isn't selfish. When your mind is calm, you become a light for others. Your calm presence becomes medicine for everyone around you. So take care of your peace, because it's not just healing you, it's healing the world. Thank you, my dear friends, for spending this quiet time with me. If this reflection touched your heart, please share it with someone who might need a moment of calm. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Elder Wisdom, where every story reminds us that the soul never grows old. Until we meet again, may your days be gentle, your heart light, and your mind at peace. See you in the next video.